Hello, this is one of the videos in the series to help you out figure out how to use Music Teacher's Office. And this video has two parts. The first part, a quick how-to, and then a more in-depth discussion explaining the reasons and the purpose for this feature. It's really important that you understand how it works, so come back and view the complete video when you have time. First thing we're going to do is we are going to go to the administrator's homepage. We assume you've already logged in and you're presented with this page. Very first thing you need to do is to set up your studio defaults. So we go there. Now, in the very first thing you need to do here is, of course, now set up your default term, and it's even complaining that you haven't set it up even before you've had a chance. So let's click default term, and it complies again until you do this, so be patient. The next thing you need to do is go ahead and follow the steps that appear just before the default term here. And it says, 1, click the step 1 button. And this appears. And so 2, click new in the toolbar. Next, enter description and date. So we click new. It says adding term here. Be aware of all the messages up there so you know what you're doing. And then we type in term 1. And then we set a start date. And we can set an end date. Say there. And then 3, click save in the toolbar. There we go. It's still complaining. Well, still be patient. At that point, we have finished all the steps. We say, go down here, and then it says 4, click the step 2 button. So we click step 2, 5, select a term from the grid, selected the term by clicking on it, and then 6, set selected term as default term. Click there, and it's set. You're done. Okay, you finished getting your very first term done. If you want to skip on to the next section of studio school information, you can jump over there now. But if you would rather do the in-depth of the default term and know more about it, just keep listening. So now we'll go back to the screen here, and you have set up your first term. Let's talk a little bit about it. A term is a span of time. It can be any length, a week, month, or a year. It can even overlap. It's much like accounting software that has a year-end setting. The reason for having terms is so you have the ability to switch between them. For example, say your terms coincide with the local school year, and it is now the month of June, but you want to start taking registrations for the next term, starting in September. This creates a problem. In September, you may have different schedule, room, teachers, and your tuition fees all may be changing, but you can't change these in June because your current teachers' schedule and prices can't change. They need them to work during June as well. So having the ability to create multiple terms and switch between them is critical. Administrators can set a new term as a temporary term to work with for the instance of the MTO that he has open. When you set a temporary term on one computer, it does not change the current term for the other users on different computers. So an administrator can take registrations and create invoices in term 2, but teachers can still teach the lessons from term 1. Here's some other things that you need to know. Every time you create a new term, you must do the following chores. 1, you must set new studio defaults. We'll get to that in a second in later videos. Also, you must add rooms to that new term. And in the teachers, we don't have any teachers listed, but you need to set your assign or attach a teacher to the new term, whichever teachers you want. And then finally, you must go to step 7 and create a new schedule, fine-tune your rooms, and assign teachers to the rooms. Okay. Now there's some data that persists between terms. Okay, so for example, your school information, which of most of it you've set when you registered, uh, doesn't change from term to term. Your instruments do not change from term to term, and you can add and take as you need, add and delete as you need. And then, oh, I forgot one thing. What you must also set your holidays on every new term. You must set your holidays on every new term. Holidays, we'll again see the following videos, and that will explain the holidays. Now going back to items that aren't affected, another good thing that's other data that's not affected are uh, your report messages are not affected, and most importantly, when you get over to the registration section of this, your teachers and data, or not your teachers, but your parents' data and your students' data does not change as well. So that's about uh, all about in depth with the default term. Now let me show you how to switch between them real briefly. Let me add another term real quickly. You can add any. So remember, we click new. We type in term to new. Then we set another date. So let's go like this. And then we can set another date. Like, oops. Oh, now see what I did? Now that was an interesting thing. I'm glad I showed you. When I click that, all of a sudden I'm editing that term one. So now I have to go back, click editing or adding a new term. And then so we go in here, we type in new term, and we click a date, and we click another date. It doesn't really matter. As I said, they can overlap if they need to. And then we again click save. So now I've got two terms, okay? So now in step two, if you wanted to say, okay, your default term is 81, term one. But now, for example, if you are the administrator and you want to get some work done in term two, you select term two, select as a temporary, and now that's 82, okay? The next thing you can do is just to switch back. There's a number of ways to do it. Really, you can just click like this, select that, and then you can just say step two, and then you could set term as default. And it switches back. Oops, no, what you have to do is step two, select one, and then there. So that shows you how to switch back and forth. Hopefully this will give you a heads up on all this stuff. Thanks for listening.